Okay, so this is, like, we don't have like a route route, for the front end. Looks like we have a modules route. So. I don't know why you need this picture.
Yeah, this is
Well. That's fine. Okay, so we just didn't have a root route, so I just added one. I was hoping to just redirect to slash modules by default, but I cannot find that in docs. Okay, so I want to look at, so we have this iframe resizer that we're not using. It looks like we just need to use it here instead of iframe. Uh, says this, use this component. Wow,
Yeah, I had tried replacing the initial iframe tag with iframe resizer tag under typical setup.
Okay, what happened?
Nothing happened.
I think we need.
Oh, there's also that thing right above typical setup. It says the page in the iframe then needs iframe resizer.content window.min.js. There was that whole other file,
Okay.
and I wasn't sure where to put it. And I don't think where I did put it was right, so I kind of just deleted it out.
Oh, that's the game. Okay. I think it's.
Bless you.
Second. Is this what you experienced, Jaden? This just wouldn't load? Oh, I want this to work.
So I'm not going crazy.
No.
Let's get the shit out of there.
I have a tendency to do that.
Not working. Ooh. I feel like Yeah, I got less errors. Huh. Min. Okay, I'll give up. Something about crossover stuff though. Oh. I don't get it. What is, I don't understand this. Okay. Oh, we still have that error. Okay. So maybe it was. Okay, I'll stop. I'm sorry. I'm very interested in getting this working now. I think I thought this error was the issue, but it looks like we have that no matter what. So maybe the page was just not, like the height wasn't being set or something. Or maybe some of the stuff we had set up about setting the height was messing up. I don't know. Okay, we're mainly gonna do backend stuff today though. So we can hop into that. Do you guys have any questions or anything before we do that?
No, that was my only question.
It was about iframe resizer.
Yeah, that one had me stumped.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not working. Uh, yeah, I don't know. So the OU people have some funding to have us keep working on this. I know last time we talked to all you guys said you didn't really want to keep working on it, but I mean, they would pay you if you wanted to. So, it's not very much money. They got like $13,000. So
Yeah, just something light, just 13,000, yeah.
well, I mean, it's not like
MVP 13K.
what. What did you say?
I was making a joke. Never mind.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Well, I mean, yeah, it's a lot, but it's not like kind of like if they were actually trying to hire somebody for like 6 months or something, that's not enough.
Yeah.
It's only like a few weeks of time. But yeah, we need to figure out what to recommend for them. So yeah, if you're interested in talking about that, just ping me. Okay, so yeah, we don't have a login thing.
What was the key prop thing on Asana?
Key prop.
It says on the main page, we get a warning in the console about missing key prop.
Yeah. It's this.
Oh, okay.
So it's a warning. But yeah, each child in a list should have a unique key prop. Basically, that just means if you have a list of things, you're supposed to give it a key. It just like helps with the performance of React. So that's this right here is like creating that. If we had more than one module, you would like see the list of them. So we have basically like this array should add a key property to this grid thing right here. So you can just do key, and then you just need to go to key, probably d.id would work. It just needs to be unique. So it could be like the index of the array, like 0, 1, 2, 3, but this is probably better just to use the ID. Yeah, somehow. Since I have that key, it's not mad. Kind of just that doesn't actually change anything. Okay, so yeah, login. If you implement logging in and like authentication yourself, it's like a lot of work. There's a lot to it. You have to like store passwords and emails, and then you have to like, if someone tries to like hack your site by like guessing passwords, you have to like implement rate limiting, because like someone can just like keep guessing.
Mhm.
So like basically if someone keeps guessing, you like block them from being able to guessing. And then so that's a whole thing you have to do. And then when somebody is logging in, like, and they are the person trying to log in, you have to give them a token, basically. So you give them like a, it's like, okay, yes, you are this person, so here's a token that you can use and send this to me every time you make a request, so I know it's you. That's typically how it works. So if you, I'm trying to think of a site that would show this. I can't think of a good example, but typically the token is what's called a JWT, a JSON web token. This is what most people use, and it basically it looks like this. That's the token, and then you basically just add every request you make, you put this token in the header after it has been given to you. And this is like there's like the server that gives it to you has a secret that it uses to like encrypt it, and then it only knows that secret. And so if someone else tried to make a token, they would know it wasn't made by the server because they were using like a basically like a password to generate their tokens. So I don't know if this is on here or not. But if you can like create a JOT and paste it here, and then it'll kind of show you what's in there. But it's called a JSON Web Token because this crap right here can be parsed and read and turned into, it's actually a object, a JSON object. And so it has a payload, and the payload is like, here's this information about this person. So you can see it has a sub, which is like an ID of a person, and then like it has a name in this case, but that's, you decide what properties you want to put there. So it's usually just like details about the person that you want. So we don't typically write all this stuff anymore. A lot of people use Auth0. Auth0 does all this for you. It also includes the actual like login page itself. They've like created that, and they have like a React library. And so, yeah, you just sort of integrate with Auth0 to get login on your page. So let me sign up. Okay. So it like, by signing up, it like made a development tenant for me, which is like our server that we're going to use. And then it's got getting started. And so I can basically get started. And typically, what is this? Oh, it like locked me into the wrong thing. Oh, I was like logged in from work still, so it just like took me to. Okay, now it's actually creating a tenant for K-coders. Okay. Okay. So you typically create an application, and it's a single page app. It's like Angular React View. And then they kind of show you how to set this up. Okay. So we install this. And then we just sort of follow their instructions. So install that library that they provide, and then we add this Auth0 provider thing. So copy this, and we do this kind of in the main app. Then we kind of wrap the app. So I think they generated this to be correct. Like these settings right here, I think those are our actual correct values. So yeah, here's the domain, the client ID. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, so that's correct. Let me just keep reading the instructions. So add login to your application. So we have a login button, right? That doesn't do anything up here. So we can hook it up to that. Just want to find that. So the header and their docs are like, just use this method that we provide and then unclick, call that method. So we'll do that. So here's where our login button is. So we'll get that method, and then when they click this, we'll call this method. That's not important. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's that's it. So now this button, you can click it. Okay, it's broken. Okay. I just need to add some settings that they told me to do this. They said to make sure we configure all your callback URLs and stuff, which I didn't do. So we'll do that now. That is in settings, and you can like configure all the like this how you want it to look and like what the logo would be and everything. But since we're doing this locally, it's all localhost 3000 for the moment. And then if we deployed it, we would have a different tenant for production, and we would configure that correctly. I just that stuff, save it. Now. So it like directs you to a new URL, which is our tenant URL that we configured. And yeah, they provide the login form for you and everything. So click that, it takes you here. You can do whatever. And you can add other single sign-on providers if you want in the settings. So I can say, I can continue with Google and do my, my personal account or whatever. And then it sends me back here. So I'm technically logged in now. And what that means is if I look at more of their quick start stuff. So we added login, and then you can add log out if we want. So typically what that means that you would do is change this button. So we can also, so we have log in with the redirect, we can add log out. So when you use Auth0, you can also ask for user and is loading, I think. So I say if, we don't need this. So we can say if user and out. Okay, so we have log in, log out, and then when you log in, like Auth0, like CC is logging in and then provides a user to you about who is logged in. So this user will be defined if they're logged in, otherwise it won't be. So if they're logged in, then I think there's maybe there's an is authenticated. That's probably better. And then let me console log user, just so you can see it. Okay, so now when we go back to this page, you can see it says log out because we are authenticated because I logged in. And then I'm logging the user, and you can see like it's got my info from Google. Google provided it. So there's my name, there's my picture from Google, and my email, and more importantly, it's got this sub. The sub is my ID. So this is like the user ID for me that you can use, and it's unique to me. Okay, so the other piece of this is we can get a token. So we can get a jot from Auth0 as well. And so there's a method. I'm just going to console log it here, called get access token. So we can do this. Yeah, this is an async method, so So I'm asking for a token from Auth0. So yeah, here it is. So it's logging on. And yeah, it's this big gobbledygook. And if we look at, if we paste it here, we can see what it is. And it's, oh, it's fucked up. Oh, you have to, if you refresh the page, it loses your login. So you have to add, tell it to store it. Okay, so let me log in again. I don't know why it's just saying valid signature. Yeah, I don't know if this is invalid or if I'm just not pasting this right or something. I may need to. So there. Oh, okay. You should only ask for the token if you're logged in. Okay, so I think maybe using Google will work. No depth in it, so let me try.
So Auth0 will like, whenever you sign into a website and it says like, do you want to like save your password? Does Auth0 do that? Or has?
Save my password.
Mhm.
That's definitely, that's like my
Oh.
password manager.
Oh.
That was asking you about that, yeah.
Gotcha.
It still says. This is not valid. If we look at users in here, we'll see that it's like, it has that I've signed up. Okay. Okay, so we have this, I'm not sure why it's saying it's invalid. I'm worried that's gonna cause problems, but, we have this token now. And what we can do is every time we make a request to our backend, we can include this token, basically. And so the backend can read the token and then see, okay, is this a valid token? Is it one that was generated by our Auth0 tenant? And then it can see like who you are, and then it can use your user ID, that sub, that's unique to me, to save information in the database that's only for that user. So like we can save your progress in Atlas using that ID, and so it gets look up things based off that ID. And then the only way that you can access data that's associated with that ID is by having the token that says that you're that person. And that's really it. It's just like an extra piece of data, and like only by having my username and password can you get that token that is gonna say that you're that person. So we have authentication on the front end, but we don't have it on our back end quite yet. Okay, so they also explain kind of how to do that. Okay, so that's all on this part. And we'll go to APIs. So we have our front end, which is an application, but now we need to make an API. So we'll go to create API. This will be our Atlas API. This doesn't really matter. Just do that. Okay. So project node, and then it kind of shows us it also helps us do this part. So, and so we're using Node, and then it has all the Express stuff that we need. So we will do, we'll need to install these libraries here. So we'll go to our server. Yeah. A express jot jwks dot slash RSA is what we need. Okay, so install both those, and then we can import both those. And like it's also putting in the correct values here for us based off like our tenant and stuff. So we'll add this. Where do we want to add this? The way that it's set up right now will make every single route require a jot, I think, which is probably not what we want. But we'll just do it to kind of get it working. Okay. So import JWT from Express jobs and import. So this says, hey, I want to use jots. The secret is actually like the secret is like the password basically that's used to encode the jot. So it's like a password that only the server knows. And we get it from Auth0 actually. So we're doing so we have to configure it to get it from our tenant. So that's what this URL is for. And then we have our audience, which is our API name, and then the issuer, which is also just the same URL up here. And then the algorithm used for signing the jot, which is very technical and not something you have to worry about. So we set this up, this jot check thing, which basically means like look for the jot in the request and make sure it's valid. And if there isn't a jot in the request and it's not valid, then like reject them, like give them an error. And so we say to basically use that for our entire application. So let me see if it's, okay, that's gonna work. Import star jot. Mm. It's like their docs are jacked up. Yeah, the Auth0 docs were like wrong for this newest version of ExpressJot. So I just went to ExpressJot and looked at their docs. So this style here, you can see, is just protecting one route rather than all the routes, which is kind of what we're doing, is like every route is protected in the way we set it up, which is probably not what we want to do. But I'm going to leave it like this right now, just to see if it's working. Okay, so what this means is, like, when we query, we should get an error now because we don't have a jot. And you can see that's happening is like whenever we talk to the API, it's giving us a 401 unauthorized now. So that's good. And then now we just need to figure out how to correctly pass the token. I don't know what they do by default. But typically what you do is you just put a token, it's just like everyone kind of does the same thing. You put a token in the header called authorization, and then you put bearer in it. I don't know why it's called a bearer token, and then you put bearer and then space your token. So for our requests, like on our front end, we remember in the header, we were able to get the access token. So we just need to put this token in the requests that we make. So if we go to one of our files that makes a request. Like module list, we have our fetch right here. So what we need to do is just get this token. So inside this get modules method, we need to get the token. Which comes from all zero. So we get the token and then we just need to put it in the header. So with fetch, we can pass the URL we want to use and we just pass options here. And then headers, so options, headers, and then you just put your headers in here. And I think it just looks like that. So we're just adding a header, authorization header, and then bearer, just like that string bearer. I don't know why we have to do that, but everyone does. And then it's just space. Bearer, space, and then the token that we're getting from Auth0. So now when we make this request here, we should see yeah, so you can see that that's added. But it's not working. We're still getting a 401. So we need to figure out what's going on there. Okay, looks like the jaw is malformed, which I was seeing that whenever I was pasting it. So yeah, now we need to figure that out. And that's invalid. Okay, okay. So we need to add, I don't know why this wasn't in there tutorial, but we need to add here, we need an audience. And our audience is our API name, which is that, I just made it up. It was https:// atlas.com. So I think we need that audience for this to work. And so I'll need to log out. I did log in. Oh, yes. Look at that. Okay. I think it was like throwing an error, I think, and preventing this from working correctly. Okay, so now our jot is, I guess it's valid at this point. So if we look at our request, we have our token, and I'm assuming it's going to be valid up here now. Yeah. So now it's valid, and you can see it's got this payload in it, and it has my ID in it, my sub. And now the backend is checking that and seeing that it's a valid job. And what we can do is in our requests now, like if we look at, I think all of them are in the same spot. Yeah, they're all here. These requests should have who I am in it, I think now. So if we look at express Java, yeah, you can see there's, when we use that, the request now is going to have off in it, I think. So we can look at, for this one, we can say request. I guess let's see what's in off. I thought it would be something different, but see what's in there. Yeah, okay. So the express.json adds a thing called off to the request. And you can see in that is our token, the payload from our token. And it has sub here. So we can access who it is from request.off.sub. And then you just use that like any other parameter. Like you start using that and just like associating that ID with the data that should be user specific. And that's it. So now we can say, oh, and also no one can just like provide that sub without actually being that person. So you know that this is a valid jot, we created it, and this is that person. And so I can now say, okay, go get the progress for this user ID in the database and give it back to them. And so that's how you associate user data to something, is with that provided ID. So we just have request.auth.sub, and you just start using it like anything else. So yeah, this request, we'll see that there. So that's it. That's how you set up authentication.
That seems a hell of a lot easier than having to build it all on your own.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like also like you don't really want a bunch of people just redoing that work all the time, because they can mess it up, and then that's a security thing. And so typically, if you're like being audited or something like that, they'd be like, oh, like you're using Auth0, and so we're good. Michael Short wrote his own, so so like the authentication at Bison is, he wrote it.
That's great.
Yeah, he always writes his own stuff, but he's really good. So yeah, that's it. So what else do you guys want to do, if anything?
I have no idea. Like I feel like there's a lot to do.
There's a lot left, yeah, but we're not gonna do all of it.
Yeah.
So I think, I assume that you guys kind of understand at this point what you would like to be able to save someone's progress. Do you guys have an idea of like what you would try to do at this point
To store their progress,
to save someone's progress? Yeah.
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Yeah.
Yeah. But wouldn't it involve, like, I guess, fetching that last little part that we did, and I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah. But I mean, like, this is like, someone might be like, hey, like in Atlas, we don't save anybody's progress. So like, can you start doing that? Can we start saving their progress?
Would
And
we-
so like, you as a dev would just need to figure out, okay, like what do I need to do to add that?
Would we save it to like local storage? Like, I don't know.
So you could do that on the browser side, like just save it to local storage. That would work, but it would only work if they're using like the same device. And so if you want the progress to be saved in a way where they can be on their laptop and then go to their phone and then go back to their laptop, then you have to do that in the database. And so that's why we set up like login. Because like you could use local storage without having them log in. But the minute that you want to store it in the database and you want it to be associated with somebody in the database, then you need login, and then you need to store their progress in the database.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I mean, you just add another database collection is what you do. That's like user progress. And then you just figure out, okay, like what data do I need to store in what format to know where they left off. So I'm logged in, and I've never used this thing, and I click, hey, start learning about public versus private. Oh, I have to fix this because I don't have the ID in it. Let me do that real quick. So, all right, so we're on the modules, we click on a module. And we're on the first page, and then we go to the second page.
You're not sharing your screen.
When did I stop doing that?
It just randomly went away a second ago.
Oh, okay. Okay, so, all right, so I'm logged in. I go to this module for the first time. Oh, that's nice, it's clickable. I go to this module for the first time, I hit next, I close the app. I reopen the app, and I land here. Like, what do we want? Like, I assume we want not start learning, but continue learning or something. And we may want like a progress, like 50% or whatever on here. And then when you hit continue learning, we want to take them to where they left off, right? So that's the desire. So how do we do that? What do you guys think? And what information do you need to capture to be able to support that?
Whether or not they've started learning.
Yeah, and then how would we know like what page to take them to, or like how would we know the percentage of their progress?
Would it be something like the last clicked like index of whatever module page?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. We need a collection for the person that is, you know, modules that they've done. And if they haven't done the module, it just wouldn't be in there. And so we'd have like, we just have one module, right? But at the moment, but this module has an ID. So you typically use the ID pretty often of the stuff in the database. So we would say like, okay, here are the modules they've done. Here's the ID for those modules. And then here's the page they're on or whatever, the index, or I'm not sure how we're storing that. Let me look at that. So we've got modules, right? And modules has image URL, title, description, and then pages. If we look at this in the database though, you'll see that here's our module. It has an ID, so we can use this ID. And then pages has our pages in it. You can give these IDs if you want to, but they don't. So we'll just have to sort of go by index or something like that. So we would just store collections like module progress, it would have the user ID from Auth0. And then you'd have like modules, like an array of modules that you started, and then that would have that would be an object. And it would have the module ID that you started, and then like current page or something like that, which would just be the number for the page that they're on, 0, 1, or 2 in the case of this module. And that's all you would need. If they were on page 0, then they're on the first page, so they click start learning, but they didn't go to the next page. So their progress.
So would it just be like, if not on page 0, that thing would go to continue learning?
Yes. Yeah. So like if they've started it. Yeah, and then you would decide, like, if they started it and didn't go to the next page, do we consider that continue or start again or whatever? Yeah, you would, when you get to that page, so you logged in, you get to the module list page, we would have to query for the progress of that person and then see, okay, here are the modules, let's list those out. That's the same for everybody. But then also look at their progress and then decide how to show the card based off their progress.
Quick question, and this may be stupid, but so we're here, and so we get to a point where we're actually building out the pages for the modules. And so say you would build like the next page in Squarespace or whatever, then do you go to like Postman to push it to Mongo? Or
Yeah, so we would probably build them like stuff in the app that would allow them to add the pages.
okay.
So we would have to hook up new routes, or I mean, you can make them with Postman, like you said, but we would need to like add an admin page or something that would like call that route for them. And then what we would do is in Auth0, we would add.
Can you give people like certain titles in?
Yeah, so we would go to, like for me, I would come in here and you can do this sort of manually to start and come in here and go, okay, well, here's Zach. And he should actually probably be, so we don't have any roles or permissions yet, but we can add them. So what we would do is we would pick our API and then we add permissions. So there are no permissions for this API yet. So we have to go to the API. APIs, here's our API. And then we go to permissions and we'd say like, we have to add permissions, so like, like write modules or something like that would be it. So add that permission. And then we can go to user roles and we would say, okay, let's create a role. This would be admin. That role should have whatever permissions you want. So we can add a permission, which is, we only made one, which is write modules. So the admin role can write modules, and then we go to users and we go to Zach, and then we'd say, okay, hey, this person is an admin. Now in my jot, if we look at that, think I have to do. Yeah, so then you say enable roles and add the permissions to the token. And then may actually log out and log back in. Oh, it says I don't have any permissions. Oh, I assigned that to, who did I assign that to? Okay, yeah, I assigned that to the wrong person. I think I have to log out my back. Yeah, so now I have this permissions thing, and so you would say, okay, hey, for this route, it's the create modules route, and you have to have a jot, and also your jot needs to have the permissions of writing modules. And that's it. Like that, you just check to see if that data is there, and that's how you do it. So yeah, we would probably create a front end, and then on the front end, you can also, so you don't, all the security happens in the API, so the API has to check the jot and do the permissions, and on the, because you can always just talk directly to the API. But on the front end, you would say, oh, hey, like which user is this? You can also access the permissions in the front end, and you'd say only show this route and this button if they're an admin. And so like the application will look different depending on who you are as well. But yeah, there would be like a create modules route on the front end they could go to and like hit add module, and they would also be able to delete them probably and update them. But yeah. What else? Anything else? Okay, so maybe we can call it there. Gia, anything else?
I didn't have any other questions.
Okay. All right, well, thank you guys. If you want to keep working on it, you certainly can. And if, yeah, then again, if you want to try to work on it, get paid for it, let me know if you're interested in that. And we can talk about that. And I'll keep you guys updated on what happens with it. So I'll try to figure out what I'm going to recommend to them to do for next steps. But thank you guys.
We tried.
Man, it's been like a whole year. It's
Yeah.
like a coders thing at this point.
Yeah.
When did we start the first module?
I think it's like,
February?
yeah, February. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
It doesn't seem, I mean, sometimes it seems long, but then it also